The next Lee and Ian podcast is approaching the station. Please step aside.
Welcome to the Lee and Ian Show. I'm Lee Navlin.
And I am not Ian Grodman.
The Lee and Ian Show is sponsored by Grodman Law and Mediation. Remember, when it comes to divorce, family first. Mediation, it's the way to go. Grodman Law and Mediation. The Lee and Ian Show is also sponsored by South Orange-based psychotherapist Amy Cox Martins. Amy can help you or a loved one find solutions to life's most challenging problems. That's Amy Cox Martins. And we have a new sponsor. That would be Spirit Airlines. Remember, they may get you to your destination, but if you have an early morning podcast and you anticipate making it home the evening before, Spirit can't guarantee that. And that is why my best pal Ian Grodman is not here this morning. That's the bad news. The good news? Well, if like me, you had the time of your life a few weeks ago at Maplewoodstock, chances are you were blown away by one of the best musical acts that has ever taken to that stage. Sarah Hodd The Drive blew the roof right off the place because that's what a powerhouse vocalist and band can do. Please welcome to the Lee and Ian Show, singer-songwriter Sarah Hodd.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Sarah, thank you so much for coming. Ian is so sorry. He texted me this morning. He texted me last night. He was anticipating getting in Spirit Airlines. He's down south somewhere, and he's probably at the airport right now, yelling at the. If does Spirit even have? I don't even know if they have like people at the desk. I'm not even sure how Spirit works. I told them not to take Spirit Airlines.
It's just the closet you go to cry into when they.
Right, exactly right. You can go in that room over there, sir. You know?
Scream into the void.
Talk to the fellow passengers that had their flights canceled too.
Right.
Yeah. I always picture Spirit Airlines like kind of like a subway, you know, like strap hangers. You know? Yeah. No, we don't have seats on this, but anyway, that's Ian. He's my partner. He's my pal, and he's really sorry that he wasn't here, Sarah. But thank you so much for coming. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, and we're just going to have to muddle through on our own, won't we?
We can do this.
Yeah,
we can do this. Sarah, after watching you at Maplewoodstock, and I've watched you perform elsewhere. I know you were just in South Orange a couple days ago as well. There's nothing you can't do. You're an amazing vocalist. Your band is absolutely amazing. But first question for you is, Maplewoodstock 2 weeks ago, 20,000 somewhat people are there. It's a giant festival. I'm sure you're looking into the crowd because you're so close to home and you're seeing friends and family and neighbors. And what does that feel like?
Yeah, that's a great question because it is the best feeling. It is the best feeling. So we play quite often. We gig quite a bit, and we're very lucky in that, we have a pretty strong local following, like people that come out to see us over and over again, and we're so thankful for that. Maplewoodstock kind of takes all those good feelings of the community, of the people you know, of new people you don't know who you can just feel in their eyes that they're excited about what you're doing. You can feel it on the stage. It's unlike anything else that I think that we as a band experience. Like, even if there might be other stages in other cities and, it's exciting to get new people to watch you, but always coming home to your community. Like I said, I think on the stage, I said something to the effect of like, we are a band of people that live in the same place. We play with each other. We love playing with each other. We love playing for each other, but we love playing amongst our people the most.
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of cool. So you'll look down and you'll see like a dork like me, like trying to get your attention while you're singing, and maybe you'll kind of give me like a little smile, something like that. And by the way, you made my day. I'm like, you see, I told you she knows me. My wife's like, she doesn't know you. I'll show you. I'll get her on the podcast anyway. So let's talk about, first of all, that super group you have. That's an 8-piece band.
Yeah.
That's intense. I know, I have some friends that are in bands, and maybe they could get 3 in a band or 4. Occasionally they'll get, a bongo player, to kind of slide in with a more keyboard player or something. But how does that work? Where do you rehearse? Is it sometimes cause a little bit more difficulty in booking gigs, I guess?
Yeah, those are all great questions. Yes, the answer to that is yes.
8 people.
So we're all 8 adults. This is for most of us, we all have day jobs, so just the logistics of it, you can imagine 8 adults with families and lives and jobs, like that in and of itself becomes a bit of a hurdle. I feel incredibly lucky that there are such talented musicians in this community and that I was able to pull these, 7 people besides myself who are very bought in to what we're doing and very bought into the mission. Okay. So we rehearse weekly. We are very consistent with that. We really approach it with a lot of professionalism because to me, that has always been one of the goals of this project is like, if we're going to do it, like, let's really do it. Like, we're not messing around.
No,
so
when you
let's
guys
try
on stage.
that whole growth mindset is very, very strong for me. And luckily, resonates with the band.
So Sarah Hodd and The Drive. So how did you guys kind of form, and what was the? Tell a little bit from the beginning of time to how you built it up to where you are.
Totally.
Right now.
Yeah. So it's been almost 3 years now, which has gone by really, really quickly, actually. But it's been actually so much time. So the way that it started is I go to a vocal studio here in town. It's called the Tim Welch Vocal Studio.
Okay.
For those if anybody's looking to work with somebody, an amazing coach, amazing person, I highly recommend him. But it was through that studio during the pandemic when, everything shut down and we were all looking for online communities to get involved with, things to do. That studio had like a songwriting class, online through Zoom songwriting class early in the pandemic. And Mark Lowney, who's in my band, he was in that songwriting class. He was also working with one of the teachers at that studio.
Okay.
And that's how I met him when things started to open up in the pandemic. So we wrote a little bit together, and, like he would hear some of my music in that. I would hear some of his music in that. Once things started to open up a bit, then he started inviting me to come and sing a few songs with his band. He had a band going on at the time.
Right.
That was my first time ever singing in a band. Was just like,
okay.
Yeah, just like once in a while, kind of jumping up there and doing a few songs. But that was how I started to make connections. So I started to go out to see a lot of local live bands, meet more people through that network. And then when I had finished an EP, maybe a year, fast forward a year and a half, had been writing music. I finished my EP and was looking for people to put together this project around. And I had developed some connections through Mark, through other people in the community, really starting with that class. And just started to reach out.
Oh, so then you got your keyboard player, Patrick.
Yep.
And Patrick, it's Sarah.
Yeah.
And then what I love, Mark is a phenomenal, funny story, Mark and I don't know if Mark ever told you this, but Mark's like, here he goes. Mark and I have known each other for like 2 decades. Okay. And I don't know, if I like black, he likes white. If I like vanilla, he likes chocolate. If I like up, he likes down. Sure. We're both kind of political, so
sure.
That's kind of, so my buddy Tarquin Learned, who was one of the founders of Maplewoodstock, we all know real well. He mentioned your band a couple of years ago, and he said, you got to check these guys out. This is a little bit different. And he was really blown away. And he told me Mark was a guitar player. So I was like, Mark's a guitar player. I'm like, I can't, okay, let's see what Mark the guitar player has. And then I was blown away. I was blown away by you guys. Mark's a sick guitar player. He really is. The guy is, and I heard you and the rest of the band, but you have 2 female backing singers.
Yeah.
That in and of itself is so cool. So Amanda Gardner.
Yep, Amanda Gardner.
And Laura Delano.
Laura Duncan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So. How is it singing with with backup singers?
Totally. It's so funny. So a lot of bands around town won't necessarily have separate backup singers because it's more people to coordinate.
Yeah. Sometimes
the musicians can kind of fill in. Whatever you get paid, you then have to split out, and we're all like operating on a razor wire. So I think there's a lot of reasons why some bands won't prioritize that. For me, it is such an integral part of the music, and so much of what I love about it is those harmonies. It's like really building out vocals. It's that feeling you can give people of like warmth, like you're embracing them when you have like big harmonic driven melodies. So that's always been such a big part of my music and the music that I love. So for me, it was like a no-brainer. So once I got the main instruments kind of lined up for the band, I put out a couple of like open auditions. Like I posted on some Facebook groups.
Yeah.
There was a pop choir at the time, and I kind of put it out in their group.
Oh, okay.
Had people come
over. You knew what
and
you were
audition.
looking for. You knew what you wanted.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
The sound you were looking for.
Exactly. And I was very lucky that Amanda and Laura came. They, knocked the auditions out of the park and immediately became part of the band. So.
And this is do you call yourselves Diana Ross and the Supremes when you're?
No, I wouldn't say so much. But like. Definitely, like my ear is tuned towards songs that have that element to it. So a lot of the songs that I pick and the music that I write, it's a big part of it,
So, and Hal Hirsch, your lead guitar player.
Oh my gosh, Hal, yeah.
Hal and Mark, they seem to. Did they play together before? Because they seem.
I don't think they'd played. I think that
they seem like brothers from another mother type of situation.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
No, I think that Hal had recorded some stuff like with Mark before, but they'd never been in a project. Together. As far as I know, I could be misspeaking. I think that this is the first like band that they've been in together. And I mean, Hal, I could just talk about Hal for days. He's so amazing. He's such an amazing lead guitarist and a writing partner. So we write quite a bit together now.
Ah, okay.
Just a creative mind. He thinks of things in a very interesting way. Yeah, I'm really lucky.
Yeah, and Billy Fishkin, the bass player, and I love the bass player.
Yeah.
You know, that to me is I played ukulele, by the way, a little bit. If you're looking for a ukulele,
Where is it?
Yeah. Wife doesn't let me leave the house with it. It's like it's embarrassing. You bring that.
She's got it locked away.
Pretty much. Yeah, I'm not allowed to play it in the house. I'm not allowed to play it outside the house.
see.
Right? Yeah. I'm not allowed to have it basically. Yeah. But I love a great bass player. Yeah, I'm a deadhead Phil Lesh. I mean, you know. So but yeah, Billy is another guy that the man is a monster up there.
Yeah, and he's been in a number of bands. So I had been out to see before, starting this project. I'd seen Billy in a bunch of his other projects, and I always just thought he was so cool. He's got such a great energy on stage.
Yeah, certainly.
So and he's also he doesn't do it in my band, but he's an excellent singer. Like he's been the front man of his own band before, where he did all the lead singing. So he's got a lot of tricks in his pocket that we don't always see up on the stage there.
You might look at him and be like, "How am I doing?" You know,
yeah, be like, "Come on, jump in here, buddy! Like, come on, help me out, give me a break."
Right, that's right. Yeah, I got a frog in my throat.
Yeah.
Billy, you take the next line.
Exactly.
And of course, no band is complete without the drummer, John Ritter, who was wonderful in Three's Company, by the way. So he must. I mean, that John Ritter, it's the same spelling.
I know,
right?
it's exactly the same. I think he's probably gotten that one before.
Yeah, I'm sure Jack must be his nickname, right?
Yeah.
I imagine. Right? Yeah. So again, a phenomenal band. You guys
Thank
you guys are excellent. Now you're working on an album. We talked about this before we went to air. Talk a little bit about that, and you do have a single out too.
Yeah. So we have a number of new songs that we've been working on and playing out live, but we just haven't. We're in the process of recording them. So I did release one of them called "Raise Some Hell," maybe about like 2 months ago now. So you can find that on all of the places, and that's like the lead single for. I'm imagining it's going to be an EP once, and so we're in the process of kind of recording the other songs, and we're going to release them as singles, and then maybe by the end of the year, early 2026, we'll pull them all together under one umbrella.
All right, so I'll tell you what, you could hear "Raise Some Hell" right now. Okay,
Awesome.
So why don't we play that for the audience? Check it out.
Cool.
Mama, she tried to make me a proper girl. She dressed me up and tried to tame all these curls. So dear, be sweet. Good ladies never shout. But by age 3, I knew I had to run this mouth. Can't act my age on latitude and big black boots and quad some rage. If you were listening, you'd rage too. Says I got lots of shit to tell. I think I'm here to raise some hell. I try to behave, but then I say it anyway. I'll tell you about that girl. She never quite fit the mold. Can't pin her down. Just sit and watch her rock and roll. You know that girl could strut for she could walk. She'll stare you down and dazzle you with that talk. Says I got lots of shit to tell. I think I'm here to raise some hell. I try to behave, but then I say it anyway. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things is not like the other. No, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things is not like the other. No, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things is not like the other. candy. I turn devils to romantics. I'll take it for a ride or two, and even listen to your point of view. But you can never try to slow me down, and now you know. Don't ever make me hush. This mouth says I got lots of shit to tell. I think I'm here to raise some hell. I try and try to behave, but then I say anyway. Says I got lots of shit to tell. I think I'm here to raise some hell. I try and try to behave, but then I say anyway. Ooh.
And that was Raise Some Hell by Sarah Hodd. Sarah, that was unbelievable.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you like it.
That was great. I mean, what was it like recording? You know, you just told you haven't been doing this so long. So, put it to this way. I asked this question to Kenny G once. Okay, I did. I asked Kenny G this question. I go, "What do you like better? You like playing live? You like recording?" And he said, "I like doing both." He says, "Because I could fuck up in the recording studio, and I cannot fuck up in front of the live audience." You know, and then he reversed it, and then he said, "No." He goes, "Check that," because I can fuck up in front of the live audience too.
Yeah.
But talk a little bit about recording versus playing live.
Totally, yeah. That's a funny. I'd actually agree with Kenny G a little bit on that. It's a very different dynamic. So when you're in a studio, and especially when you're like working with really talented musicians, and you've got time and it's quiet, you've got the space, and you're just really focused on that one thing. Like that's a very beautiful and special, and it can be a very like magical experience. And yes, you can go back and you can redo things, and you can say, "Hey, let's try it this way. Let's try it that way." A lot of creativity in the writing process can come out through that. So being in the studio and recording is awesome. And then, of course, you have the help of technology, so you can immediately play things back and make little tweaks. So that is an art form that I'd almost consider it a separate thing, and it's so fun. But it's not the same, like being in front of an audience of people and you're making eye contact and you can see they're having such a good time, like, and you did that, like, and you're connecting with them, and it's in the moment. There's something that's, it's hard to describe, but I think that's the thing about music, is that it forms these connections. You form an immediate connection with somebody, and it doesn't matter if the person next to you, the person I'm looking out on from the stage, like, it doesn't matter what they believe in, who they're which politician they agree with, like, none of that matters, because in that moment you found some common ground, and that's the live experience, intangible little fairy dust that it's kind of hard to capture, but I think there's nothing else like it.
No, I fully understand. I did stand-up comedy for years, and when I would tell a joke and they would boo, I'd say, "Okay, I know that's a bad joke. I can't do that joke ever again." Right. And that's why I do the podcast now, because there's no audience, right? In my case, if they're booing, I don't know. Just turn it off. Don't boo me, right? Don't hiss me. Don't throw things at me. But so I just want. So you came to Maplewood. You now apparently. You're from Brooklyn.
Yes, I'm from Brooklyn.
You grew up in Brooklyn.
Yes.
So you're the real Brooklyn
born
deal.
and bred, baby.
Because I meet so many people, I'm like, especially here in Maplewood, South Orange, like, "Where are you from?" Like, "Brooklyn." I'm like, "Where were you raised?" Like, "Minneapolis."
I know. They lived in Brooklyn for 1 year.
Well, yeah. They said they're from Brooklyn, right? You lived in Brooklyn for 2 years, and then you had kids, and now you're out here in the burbs. But so you're from Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. Your parents now. I'm just reading a little bit about your parents. They were very musical. Your mother was Jamaican. Your father British, and I guess you were introduced to basically every type of music that was, it sounds like.
Yeah, so we just listened to a lot of probably types of music that maybe people wouldn't guess. So my mom would put country music on in the car all the time, and I don't know why, because she's from Jamaica. Yeah. But I think for her, she felt like that was wholesome music or something about it. Felt like wholesome American music, you know? So she wanted that for us. My father was big into the Stones. He's from England, and big into the Stones. And so he would be playing those records all the time. They both really liked Bob Marley, so we'd be playing Bob Marley all the time. And I grew up in East Flatbush, Brooklyn, which is a Caribbean American neighborhood. So there was just reggae and soca on in the background. Yeah. And I'm a 90s girl, so hip hop was a big part of my life. So all of these things kind of came together. But when I started playing music as a child, I was playing classical. I was playing classical piano.
Yeah, you took lessons as a
I played classical piano pretty seriously up until college. So I had all of these contemporary musical influences, but my background was I was very much classically trained. So it was like choirs and classical piano until college when I kind of like went on a big hiatus.
So what do you still play a little bit?
Yeah.
I mean, now that I guess you're back in the game.
Yeah. So basically, it's interesting. I would say without going to too much detail, there was some like family dynamics and some reasons why I stepped away from music for like 20 years.
Okay.
And I like literally did not sing a note. Would not sing in the shower, like nothing.
Right.
And then I came back to it in like 2018.
Awesome.
And I started playing again, started playing the piano, and then started singing, started taking vocal lessons with the Tim Welch Vocal Studio, like I mentioned, started playing a little bit of guitar. So basically from 2018 until now, it's just been like both feet in, deep dive, back into... I kind of this whole time like knew that I had made a mistake and knew something was missing. And so when I kind of came back to it in 2018, it was like, oh yeah, like I'm home again. Like it just felt like jumping into a cool pool of water. Like, oh, this is what I should have been doing this whole time.
And immediately, guys like Mark are saying, whoa, this is what you're doing is really good. So that had to be like, I knew it. I was in there. I just
totally. It's been very validating, and there's such a supportive community here. Like there are so many musicians. There are so many people who are like, just create a space, like in other places, it may have been harder for me to break in and make connections and get musicians to work with me, being somebody who hadn't touched an instrument in 20 years. But this place kind of, gave me space to do that. And I got a lot of great feedback, and it's been a pretty quick ride. The roller coaster has been going up since then.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, half of what they said. I think someone said. I think it was Tom Hanks. He said, half of it is being lucky, right place at the right time. But he says, but when you're given the opportunity, you better deliver the goods.
Got to work, and that's I would say probably the reason why the band is called Sarah Hodd on the Drive.
Yeah.
So the drive is referring to this sort of relentless pursuit. Like if you find something that brings you joy, if you find something that makes you happy, that you feel fulfilled by, like follow that shit. Like be relentless about it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel, is I feel like relentless about the pursuit.
Yeah. You got to keep going. My son does music. He's an electronic artist. He toured with Mia Gladstone, who actually grew up in Maplewood. The two of them toured in Europe. And it's funny. I used to give him a hard time. I go, this is not a guitar. This is not a drum. You're not a musician, And then he was been playing in Amsterdam in front of like 10,000 people.
Yeah, that's a whole other world of music.
Yeah, and he said, you think I'm still not a musician? I remember him saying that to me, and I was like, I'll never give anyone advice ever again. But it's just it's the pursuit of something that you're really good at, and
100%. And the thing is, like, there's an audience out there for everything and for everyone. Like whatever it is that you're into, there are people out there who will also be into it if you're fucking good. No matter what it is, like you've got to put the work in. Yeah, it's a little bit of like what I fear in our society right now, is that we're losing the ability to like deeply practice and build real deep levels of expertise, because we're always looking for hacks for everything. So so whether it's electronic music or whatever it is, like if you get really good at it, you'll find your people who will respond.
Yeah, there's an audience for like you said. Now that's good. I'm glad you're bringing this up, because I guess one of the things bands, and I've always wondered this, you go see a band and they're outstanding and they're amazing and they're playing a lot of covers. So here you are writing some original music, as we just listened to. Covers versus originals, how is that playing out with audiences?
There's a whole world we can go down into in this. So we love covers, I think that there's a couple things. One is, in our band, we do some covers that are pretty well known, but a lot of my philosophy, or a lot of the songs that we do, are like, I'm looking to surface amazing songs out there that have not made it into the top 10, that people may not have heard of. So some of the songs that you'll hear, like, they're such bangers, but they're a little bit unknown, or they're artists that just never quite cracked through.
Yeah.
And that's important to me, because like there's so much great music out there, but there's a lot of gatekeeping, and it's very hard to discover people that are not like the Taylor Swifts and the Beyoncés. It's very hard to get through to get to those other artists. So part of the reason why we do the covers that we do, it's very intentional, that only a small percentage of those are going to be the songs you hear on the radio all the time. Like I'm trying to bring new artists into other people's awareness because I love them so much. So that's part of it.
Yeah.
But the downside of that is people want to hear songs they know. And you go to a bar and you hear a band come on and they're playing that Shabuzi song or whatever it is, and you want to dance. And we perform a service for people. Like you got to give people what they want a little bit. So on the one hand, like I totally get why lots of bands do lots of covers of songs that everybody knows, because when they're yelling at you in the bar to play whatever it is, like you want to be able to give them what they want. It also makes you harder to book if you're not going to just be able to do requests for what everybody wants all the time. So you create a little bit of a... So on the one hand,
they might ask you. They'll say, "Hey, who do you do? Stones? Do you do Diana Ross or you
something
whatever
like that?" Or you just know some bars. Like if you're going to a bar on a Friday night on the Jersey Shore, they're going to want to hear Bruce Springsteen.
Right.
They're going to want to hear Tom Petty.
Yeah.
Like, and if you're not doing those songs, then they may still have a great time, but it's a little bit of a hurdle for you just have to grapple with it. That they have expectations. And you may not be meeting those expectations. You may be meeting other ones, but it just makes the space a little bit more difficult to navigate.
Yeah.
Whereas if you can just get up there and do 3 hours of songs that everybody knows and loves, like all of the rock and roll standards. It's a little bit easier to package.
Right. What I like about you.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So the long way of saying I love doing covers. The way that we approach them is a little bit different than a lot of bands.
Interesting. Yeah. So you'll do a couple covers, and then you'll go maybe now that you see we're really good at the music, here's a couple songs that I hope blow you away.
Exactly. So it's a little bit of like hook them in with something that they know.
Yeah.
And then try to give them a little something that they don't. It's a little bit of like give them some dessert and then give them some vegetables, I guess.
Right. Yeah, and I guess, there's just, like you said, there's so much music out there. I mean, a band in the 60s, maybe, how much rock and roll was. Are they going to do an Elvis song, Elvis music all night? So they were able to kind of just go out and do their own thing. So bands today really have to navigate that.
Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of what you hear, a lot of what people are familiar with, it's very much like curated by a few major music labels and by the mainstream music industry. So if you're just for most people, if they're just used to hearing the same 30 songs every day, sometimes you gotta nudge them a little bit to get them to hear 31 to get that, to get a little traction on song number 32.
Sure. So are your folks still around?
My father passed away during COVID.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But my mother
Very
is still in Brooklyn in the house I grew up in.
So how is she feeling about you back on stage? And
it's
she a little blown away? Like, really?
Yeah, totally.
I thought you were moving out to the suburbs, settle down.
She was really expecting kids to happen, and that is not what happened.
Right.
I mean, so she's a little bit older now, and she's having some health issues, so she hasn't been able to come out to see us in a while.
Okay.
But, she sees videos and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when I was a kid and I was playing classical, like she was very obsessed with this idea of me being this classical musician. So this is not what she would have expected in any world, but she's super happy to see me having a good time.
Good, because it's her fault.
Well.
She was one making you listen to all the music in the car, right? She's the one who's saying, like, hey, isn't music great? Isn't it important?
Totally.
And your friends back in Brooklyn, I assume, that's got to be a thrill for them to.
Yeah, of course. It's a surprise though, because for a lot of people that I've known since before 2018, it wasn't a part of my life for a long time. So I think for people that have known me for a while, they're like, oh my God, there's this whole other world to Sarah that I didn't know.
Right.
Whereas people here only know this side of me.
Right. Yeah. It's
But it's cool. I get a lot of positive feedback. A lot of my friends who've known me for a long time, they say that it inspires them to go back to things that they may have let go of or think about what they could be doing that's not a part of their lives now. Like anything is possible if you've got time and if you're willing to put a little bit of work in. And I like that. I can be a little bit of a living example of that sometimes. Sure.
What I like, first of all, Sarah Hodd, it's a recognizable name. It almost sounds like the type of name maybe, have I heard this before? I think I just what, so very interesting, Sarah Hodd The Drive. So you were very specific in saying we got a lead singer and her name is Sarah Hodd, and then we have the accompanying band. Was it the thought process behind the name, and because I think it's a brilliant thing to do because it just you put a face to us, to a band.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely intentional in that, when I formed the band, I had written the EP. I had just finished recording the EP, and so it was very much about that the music that I was writing and the songs that I was attracted to being kind of the core.
Yeah.
And no band is one person. Like everybody contributes. Like, so I'm not trying to diminish the value of everybody else in the band, but it was clear from the beginning that like this was going to be kind of my vision. And if you're on board, great, come on, let's get on board. And luckily they have been.
Yeah.
And again, very intentional, like the drive being like, this is about that pursuit and like being passionate and putting in work and getting better and better. Like if we're asking people to come out and see us, and we're asking them to take time out of their lives to come and spend time and money on us. Yeah. Like we got to give them something good. Yeah. And let's be driven about that. So that was always like,
so if you saw us last year and you thought we were good, we're going to be better now.
Every time we're looking
we're rehearsing,
up level.
We're working it out. We're
thinking about new songs. Like it's every time we're going to, it's a little bit of 1% improvement every time,
Yeah, well, I think I'm as a deadhead, we consider ourselves to be the smartest people when it comes to, I've been to 120 Grateful Dead shows, but the thing about the Dead that I liked was the chemistry on stage, and you could tell when they're having a great night. Jerry and Bob Weir, and they were riffing off of each other, and the bass player and it's all working out. And I'm watching you guys, and I'm seeing Mark and Hal, and they're just looking. Bouncing off of each other, like I said, it seemed like they, been doing this for years, and so the chemistry it's getting tighter and tighter. Yeah. Does that make things easier for you?
100%, and it's this, it's that weird paradox of like. Musicians say this a lot, but it's like this idea of like getting really, really tight so that you can be loose. Yeah. Like getting everything that needs to be hardwired in so locked in that you can then just have fun on the stage because you don't need to worry about what's that next note I'm playing. And like, wait, where's the stop in the song? It's like, so that's part of the reason why I think spending that time rehearsing together, like really building like firm foundations in the music and in the songs and in what each one of us brings to, it's so important. Because then that allows you to have trust and faith when you're up on stage and just have a good time.
Yes, right. Yeah, no, and you guys, by the way, I'm looking at some pictures, and Sheena Collum, South Orange Mayor Sheena Collum has been on our podcast before, and she said to me, Lee, she's like, if I like something, she's like, I'm going to support it. And I see her with you guys in a picture just a couple of days ago. So if Sheena Collum likes you,
Sheena's great.
Sheena is, she's a big supporter of the arts and big supporter of people who just want to do a podcast or whatnot. But I do understand what you're talking about with Sarah Hodd and The Drive. So Ian and I, when we started the podcast, we were trying to come up with a name, and I said, I got an idea, Lee and Ian Show. Simple. And Ian said, I got an idea. How about the Ian and Lee Show? and so
it's different.
Right. So we went back and forth on that for a little bit. Yeah. So anyway, so that's where we stand right now. Yeah. So anyway, but I do understand the importance. But they have a similar thing. I just said, let's put our faces to the because instead of calling the New Jersey podcast or whatever. What is that? So that's why I like the idea of a face with facial recognition and naming something.
Yeah, and I think it also tells the audience, it sets up their expectations a little bit that you're going to be hearing a specific point of view, right?
Right, yeah.
And that's part of it. Like you're going to, in this band, you're going to be really hearing my point of view through the, writing the music and choosing the song selection and the way that we do those songs. And it's the same kind of thing. It's not a general point of view. It's a specific, it's tied to a person or two people and what they want to say.
So, someone who hasn't seen your band yet, they want to go out. I see you playing at Fanwood performance series, I guess.
Yeah, so actually...
That's September 13th.
September 13th. So it's not on our website yet because we're still finalizing some details, but I think we're actually going to be at the Bitter End on September 6th.
Oh, okay, Bitter End. Okay, beautiful.
So
September
we're still
6th.
finalizing details, so it'll be on the site soon, but that we're super excited about that one.
Yeah. That's how I've been there too many times to count. So,
and another one actually that I'm now. What you're reminding me of is that I need to update my website. But for those of us who are in New Jersey, actually, my band is going to be playing something called Shorefest 2025, and it's at the Vogel Theater at the Count Basie in Red Bank. Okay, and that's August 22nd, and that's going to be like a big party if you're in the Jersey neck of the woods. You want to come down to Red Bank. Yeah.
Okay, and Sisters for a Cure concert. That's October 18th.
That's October. So that's just me. That's not the full band. Okay. But that's actually a really cool concert. It's to benefit breast cancer research, and the idea is that it's 4 bands and it's all women, and so all of the bands and all of the singers are female.
Okay,
And-
so there's a band that will play for all the singers specific.
Yeah, so there's actually 4 separate bands that they put together. So they pull on talent from all over the shore,
interesting.
all
Yeah,
female
yeah.
artists. So every musician is going to be a woman, and then the lead vocalist will sing backup vocals for the other songs.
Oh,
So
that's gonna be cool.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
really, really cool, and it's for a good cause, and that's in October.
So for those who haven't seen you yet, when they go see Sarah Hodd The Drive, you're going to hear some original music. Who else are you? What are some of the bands that you're
Sure,
singing
sure.
songs?
So,
I know you mentioned Tom Petty and Springsteen and whatnot.
Well, so unfortunately, we don't. I feel like I can't be in New Jersey and say this.
Asbury
but-
Park. Asbury Park,
We don't have Bruce yet on our repertoire, but I'm sure we will.
You get a gig in Asbury Park, you
Totally.
will. Right,
for
right.
sure.
You're born to run, baby.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You can do that.
Totally. Yeah, so some of the other artists and bands that we cover are like Lake Street Dive. I do a little Aretha Franklin. One of my favorite artists is an artist called Judith Hill, who is incredible. She used to work with Prince until he passed.
Okay.
Allison Russell is another good one. We do a couple Beyonce songs,
Yeah.
a little Shabuzi. So we do some more, contemporary, like current. But yeah, it's like everything from blues to soul to rock and roll.
Yeah.
And really the biggest thing for me is that it feels like it's in the same ilk as the songs that we're writing. So it all
Yeah.
feels like we're coming from, there's like a sonic similarity, I guess.
So anyone in the band might say, "Hey, I'd love to really give this one a shot." Or
So people do suggest songs for sure. It's not just my opinion,
Right.
and sometimes we do those, and sometimes we don't.
Right, yeah.
But like, some of the songs that we do a lot have been songs that other people in the band have suggested.
Gotcha. It's like I can't sing that,
I can. I may not want to.
I don't want to do any Joe Cocker songs. Right? yeah. No.
Yeah.
Now, Mark, getting back to Mark a little bit. So one of the arguments he and I have had over the years, I know, is when one time it was a debate on one of these Facebook pages who was the best band ever played Maplewoodstock.
Oh, okay.
And this was 5 before you guys played, by the way. So
course.
right, exactly. Now I'm the greatest band ever played Maplewoodstock is Sarah Hodd The Drive.
Good
But
answer.
Thank you. It's a Dumpster Funk, which was a band out of New Orleans, and so Mark said the Smithereens because he's a huge Smithereens fan. Turns out I think he was friends with guys in the band. So the Smithereens are the worst. And so he and I, that was another argument we had. Probably
Right.
then it would turn to politics, and I probably made fun of his boy band hat. He made fun of the Grateful Dead. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing just was
Totally.
right, yeah. But so I know Mark. But Mark, I know he's into the Smithereens.
Sure.
He's into Jersey bands.
Yep.
So and he's pretty schooled and all that. So.
Yeah, Jersey rock and roll is his bread and butter, I think.
Right, yeah. So I would imagine, every once in a while you guys are hanging around and, he's like, hey, I got an idea.
Yeah. It's true. He suggested a couple songs like You're So Vain, for example, which we haven't done yet, but is kind of that kind of ilk. I think. Yeah, I mean, there's 8 people in the band, so we get a lot of suggestions, and I just try to pick the ones that feel like they're going to be the best fit, that we're going to be able to kill it on, that I'm going to sound great on,
Right.
So.
Yeah. The challenges of producing the song, the music too. I mean, it's like, we can do that, and I'm like, we don't. That's not ours. We can do things better than that.
Totally.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, for me, if you're going to do a cover, you either have to give people what they're expecting, like you got to nail the cover, or you can do it creatively, like you can do it a little bit differently, do your take on it. But then it's got to stand up to the original, So it's like doing it just for the sake of doing it. It's got to be good because it's either got to be what people are expecting if they know that song, or it's got to, if it's going to be different, you better still make them feel just as good as the original one does.
Right. Yeah.
You can't give them a disappointment. You can't do a cover of a really famous song and it not measure up because then it's like, why'd you do that?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's like the worst thing. Right. It's It's like I could do that in my in my living room, with my ukulele, and my wife says like, Sarah, you'll talk to her about that, right? I mean, here you are, 20 years.
What I'm hearing is this is really about your ukulele issues.
Sarah Hodd, she wasn't doing music a couple years ago, her family isn't giving her a hard time about it. My wife would say, because Sarah Hodd is talented. Right?
That's so funny.
Anyway, but I played guitar for a little bit.
Nice.
It's an impossible instrument to learn. I mean, you're a pianist, so I don't know what it is. That guitar. So when I see a great guitar player like Mark or, you know, and I don't even understand. I could do like chords, you know, and then all of a sudden notes and chords and what is going on?
Yeah, I mean, I play a very little bit of guitar just for songwriting. And there's a reason why you will never see me with a guitar on stage anymore.
Right.
I used to, like, I did some solo shows when I was like first starting to play out, maybe like right after the pandemic. And then when you're like just next to a really excellent guitar player, you're like, why? Why? Like, let's let them do it because it's so impressive. And
and your drummer is just, you know, that's another instrument. I played the drums when I was like 10, and my father like took the drums away. You know, he bought me like a new drum set. I played it for like a month, and one day they were gone. He was like, the neighbors are complaining. You know, like,
I'm always amazed whenever any parents are like, yeah, we can try a drum kit.
That's the one, right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, you see the drummer showing up to like a gig with like 10 pieces, right? And then you see like the one guy who just shows up like, you know, with a guitar. But
that's why drummers are in high demand. Like there aren't as many of them, you know? So if you get good, then you can get a lot of work.
And all you have to bring is a mic.
You know, somehow, theoretically, except that all of the gear is mine. All of this stuff is mine. So it's a mic plus all of the other mics plus the PA plus 700 pounds of speakers plus 700 pounds of cables. So it's actually... Most vocalists only show up with a mic. Somehow I've roped myself into a situation where I have all of the gear.
So what kind of were you driving, like an 18-wheeler, I guess?
I mean, we get it all, I know, right? We get it all into our SUV. But I am always the first one there and hauling all the stuff.
Right. Okay. You want to get a feel for the sound and the dynamics of the
we got to set it all up.
Right. How the acoustics, I guess.
And just get everything plugged in and get the PA speakers up and all of that. My husband does sound for us, which I'm very lucky for. I'm very thankful for.
But, is that his background? Is he?
No, well, he learned it, started picking it up for this, actually. He's a very, like,
I met your husband. We met last summer. We briefly, and heck of a nice guy.
Thank you. He's very like technical and like technically minded, so he's good at like figuring out things like that. But he just picked it up the last couple of years.
Where's he from? He's from
England, from Manchester.
From England, right? Manchester. Okay, yeah, and that's right. We met last summer at the Village Hall.
Nice.
I think we were chatting outside. So Tarquin, I was doing stand-up comedy shows here for a while in town, and we were doing. So Tarquin, you're talking about equipment. You know, I would say, hey, dude, you know, I'm gonna start doing these stand-up shows. You got equipment? He's like, oh yeah. So he brings me to his garage. He's got these huge speakers. He's got these huge stands, giant things. He's like, this will be great, man. He's like, you know, people will be able to hear you a mile away. So I get him in the car. They're like 200 pounds. You know, Tarquin was just drinking a whiskey as he's watching me haul everything into the car, and you know, and I'm hurting myself, and I'm injuries trying to get the thing up on the stand, and the thing is falling down, and so then I go back and say, Tarquin, these are a little too heavy. He goes, oh, you should have taken the smaller ones. You know, he had smaller, like more powerful ones.
Oh my god!
I was like, why did you give me? He goes, well, they were behind the big ones. You know?
He didn't want to move them.
Right, he didn't want to move them. Yeah. But yes, I know exactly. But point is, I know. Yeah. So it's the there's a glamorous side to doing music, and then there's the other side of it, and that's the setup, that's the takedown.
Totally, it's a ton of work.
The booking, right?
It's a ton of work. I think when you get bigger and you're only doing places that already have a sound crew, you know, if you're only playing like huge stages, then it's a bit of a different situation. But for us, like it is a labor of love. Like, it's especially, you know, 85 degrees outside and you're setting up for 2 hours before you then go on and sing for 3 hours before you then break down for an hour. And so, yeah, I mean, like you kind of, especially if you're not at a level where you're like making enough money to truly support yourself just through the music.
Yes.
I would like everybody to know that every single band out there is working their butts off. Like it's it's a labor of love. Very few of us are doing it because we're making any significant money off of it. Yep. And we live in a world that consistently devalues live music and doesn't want to pay anybody for it. So
that's right.
Most of us are setting our own stuff, having to buy our own gear, having to fix the gear when it breaks, having to take it all down, having to haul it from place to place. Like that's just a part of the gig.
Yeah, and of course the booker might say, well, how many people can you bring? I mean, that was me when I produced comedy shows, you know, the Comedy Cove, which is closed, it was in Springfield, it was a great little comedy. But Gene, I was buddies with Gene, you know, but he would say, how many, hey, Gene, can I do a show? Yeah, how many people are you going to bring? I'd be like 50, you know, and he'd be like, I need more than that.
Totally.
So I'd be like 100. He'd be like, okay, that's good. And then I'm like, I got to figure out a way.
Got to get 100 people.
Right, so the nerves of that, and then you're supposed to go up and try to be funny.
Totally, and be cool, be relaxed. relax.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
totally.
chill, everybody, right? Yeah.
And you get it. Like, you get the places need to make money. Like, it's not that, you don't understand what's behind it, but it just makes it very, very challenging if you're not in a position where you have, resources to be able to help you out.
Yeah. But nice thing about SOMA here is there is a base of people that really, I mean, you have the, with the, they play in front of the house.
Porch Fest. Totally.
Maplewoodstock.
Various summer festivals, street series. There's a lot of places.
Right. So it's a way to build up a following.
Totally.
And then you say, guys, now can you get down to the shore?
Totally.
Can you get the fanwood?
Totally.
Right. Yeah. No.
Totally.
So your husband, you mentioned you have no kids.
No kids. We have 2 dogs that we really treat as though they are small, spoiled children.
People call them fur babies. You know, right?
I know.
Yeah, so.
They really run our lives, but yeah.
And when you're not singing and performing and hauling equipment, what are you doing for?
So I work. So I work for SoundCloud, which is a music streaming app.
Oh okay. All right, so you're kind of in the realm, so to speak.
Yeah. So I run their. My title is Global Vice President of Talent Acquisition. So I run their recruiting function. So I'm more on like the people side of it. But yeah, it's in the music and the technology industry. So it's a really interesting place to be, being an artist and also, kind of working within the industry in a sort of different way.
Yeah. Where do you see music in 5-10 years? Live music. Now, I was just in Vegas at the Sphere. I saw Dead & Company, and it's a big giant globe base, and it's just imaging all over the place. Like 50,000 LED screens, and so it's like there's.
It's amazing.
You feel like you feel like you're in an elevator at one point. You feel like you're in an airplane.
Wow.
It kind of like almost like a ride, a virtual reality ride, and you're seeing your band, but.
Very cool.
There's that, but then, as you said, there's SoundCloud, and there's people at home, and there's. Where's music going? And, not the genre so much, but the live. Yeah,
it's a very good question, and if I'm being honest, I'm a little concerned about the state of music.
Okay.
So, how do I explain this? So, there are so many incredible musicians. And I don't think that's going to change. People love music for a reason. It is the universal language, and so I don't think that's going to change.
Right.
There is this conversation around AI that I think is very prevalent in the industry, and that for those of us that love music and new music, it's something we need to pay attention to, which is just that as we develop technologies and tools that in a lot of ways can help, right? So, for example, if you're somebody who really wants to write a song, but you don't know how to play an instrument, well, now there are tools where you can kind of do that, like there are like guitars where you can just press buttons to play chords instead of actually learning how to strum a guitar. And you could, through AI, like instead of hiring a backing vocalist, you can have an AI voice do it all for you, and you can tune yourself so you don't really have to work on pitch. Like all of these things are tools to quote unquote help, and in some ways they do, right? In some ways it does open up avenues of resource for maybe that kid who can't afford a guitar, but maybe this thing is cheaper. They can't afford lessons, but they could figure it out on this tool that basically allows them to just press buttons instead of playing chords. So that's a positive, right?
Yeah.
I promise you this is going somewhere.
Yeah.
But the downside of it is that as a society, we're becoming more and more used to hearing AI, and we don't even realize it.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell when something is made by an actual human versus by a robot.
Right.
We are learning the ability to, I mentioned this before, kind of deeply practice and build skills because we want to hack our way to the next level all the time.
Yep.
We want to find the easy way to be able to do the thing. So all of this is to say that there's some really exciting things that I think, like we're hearing different sounds in music production than we've heard before, which is really cool, and that's always interesting to me. That's exciting. I am a little bit worried about live music, about how much we are getting so used to hearing so tuned voices that we can't even allow an artist to have an authentic voice on stage.
Right, yeah.
I'm just a little bit worried about that.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting thing, right? You sometimes on this music, you hear these singers, and then you hear them talk. It's like they don't sound anything like that because the whole thing is
so much of like any live show you see now. So many of them are live tuned and processed live. So you just don't even know. You don't allow for any humanity in the performance anymore. And so I worry about that piece because what we love about live performances is like that little element of you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Like what are they going to do up there? Is something going to go wrong? Is it going to go great? Like that's that little underlying, undefinable excitement that it adds that we are slowly removing from the process by perfecting everything through tools and technology and then training our ears to get used to that.
Yeah, I mean, we were kids. I mean, the day, I'd have an argument with Pete Townsend is the best guitar player. Keith Richards, Jimi Hendrix, and I went to my best buddy who was still pals to this day, but we got in a fist fight over who's better, Bowie or Rush.
Totally. But it felt so important to you, right?
It felt so important. We like 14 years old. We both got suspended from school.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
What was the fight about? Well, I said that Rush was better than David Bowie.
Oh my God.
He said, by the way, Bowie or Rush, in your opinion?
Oh, that's a good question. For me, it would probably be Bowie, but I have all the appreciation in the world for Rush.
14 years old, we had this.
That's amazing.
And when I see him, and he lives in the city now, and he's a anyway, we'll bring that up right away, and we still get ticked at each other.
That's so funny.
Yeah, he's like, Rush is better than he realized. Yeah, he had the, but anyway. Yeah. So, but there we are.
That's so funny. Yeah. I mean, for me personally, like, if I'm working with a guitar player, like I want to work with the guy who spent hours in his basement, figuring out how did Jimi Hendrix get that sound on that solo. I want to work with that person, or the one or the girl who was like, you know what, fuck going to the prom. I want to figure out how to play this bass line. Like that's the person ultimately that I want to work with. So all these tools and tricks and hacks and technologies like can be great. But you lose, like that passion you had in that fight with your friend, that comes from knowing that a person is so obsessed with what they did, that they are the best. Like that builds a loyalty, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and in my case, I lost a tooth.
That's how strongly you believed it.
Sucker
man.
punched me, right? Yeah. But I do tell you, sometimes I do get a little bit down, but then I'll go on to TikTok and you'll see all these brilliant singers and performers and young guys playing guitar today, and I know TikTok, some people are like, why would you go on TikTok? Because I'm seeing a lot of talent out there in their bedrooms.
Totally.
And you're doing Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, this kid's 14 years old. He's playing like Stevie Ray Vaughan.
That's a great point. And I'm glad that you say that because I'm being a little bit kind of like down on like what's happening with technology. But like that opens up avenues for people to even be seen, right?
Yes.
Like TikTok and Instagram, like how would you have ever seen that 14-year-old before if we didn't have this same thing? So it's very much like two sides of this coin. One side is like so positive and enabling, and the other side is a little bit like, whoa, what's going to happen?
Yeah, right. So I think it's a war. It's kind of it's going, and it's going to meet up somewhere in talent or AI.
Who knows?
We'll see who wins. But to be continued, I guess.
I guess so.
Well, Sarah, this has been so much fun.
Yeah.
You're as cool in person as you are on stage.
Thank you.
And I really mean that. And for those who have not checked out Sarah Hodd The Drive, I suggest you do. Again, we mentioned some shows that are coming up. Please check the sarahhoddmusic.com.
Yes, please do.
Right, and
I will update that today.
Okay, yes, that's right. By the way, if anybody updates web pages, Sarah may be looking for someone. She's got a lot on her plate right now.
Yes, it's true.
But Sarah Hodd Music, and it's a beautiful website. You have clips of your music. It's your backgrounds on every. You got a shop here too. Is anything for sale yet?
I have to re-up my merch, but there's a few things on there. But it's for my old EP, so I have to get stuff for the new albums out.
All right, so hats and shirts to come.
All that's to come.
Awesome, Sarah. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much,
Thanks
Lee.
for joining
It's been so much fun. I really appreciate it.
The Lee and Ian show, not the Ian and Lee show, especially when there's no Ian. But again, for those who checked in halfway, Ian was not able to get home. Spirit Airlines screwed him big time. So he is somewhere down south at an airport right now.
Yes.
So anyway, Sarah, thank you again.
Thank you, Lee.
Until we meet again, good night, everybody.